Drop.
Is this the fucking mic?
Drop.
This is exactly what I should be doing.
What's up, and welcome to this week's episode of The Drop, your weekly source for all things crypto art, as well as NFTs and other things in the Mograph industry. I couldn't get it up in time. I kept clicking. I kept clicking Chrome, and it wasn't bringing it up. Anyway, joining us as always is Dave Koss, and joining us this week, super excited to talk NFT and crypto art stuff. Nick DenBoer, also known as Smearballs.
Hello.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. You want to go through the major drops real quick? And then
let's go through the major drops
stuff to talk about.
Into the meat of the show.
Yeah.
First up, Nifty Gateway today, the 10th of January, is Clapis. This one is Clapis is a sculptor, and what's really interesting is that there's some really expensive prices on here. You know, from what you're used to seeing with like NFTs and stuff like that. You know, like a 15-minute open edition for $4,000 each, which is, you know, a little
open
high
edition
price.
for
Open edition for $1,000. Yeah.
You know, it kind of does solve the open edition problem.
Yeah. I know.
You know,
you make it too cheap, everyone's gonna get it, and it's gonna become saturated. If
right,
you know, a little expensive. But
it's
anyway,
some money, but.
We've also got some collector drawings and collector pre-sale and stuff. Yeah, so it's
those look cool.
Really cool looking stuff.
Yeah.
Really cool looking stuff. So that is today. Next up tomorrow, we've got Ola Volo. Ola is this is really cool stuff. So it says volumetric capture, you know, and mixing together some of their work and stuff. But this looks rad. I would love to know how they did that, because the work looks great. Yeah. So that's on the 11th. On the 12th, there's Mira Ruido. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly.
Ruido. That sounds correct.
Sounds right. Right. This is a collection called Life. So you're ready for the never-ending cycle. Born, play, work, die. Yeah.
Yeah.
So should be fun. Then on the 14th, Vinicius Costa.
Whoops, wrong screen.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm saying this right. So this is, this one that I'm showing is just a super rare thing, but I really liked their work. They didn't have anything about their upcoming drop, but it's like a super surrealism and stuff like that. I really like their work. So should be a really fun one. That one is on the 14th. Then going over to Maker's Place on the 11th, Alexander Van Glitch is doing a drop. The Dreams of Francis Bacon, which is really interesting. Whoa. It's inspired by British painter Francis Bacon's famous portraits. Collections based on one idea. What if the artist's portraits were inspired by his own dreams? So, I don't know. Fun stuff.
Interesting.
Neat looking stuff. Yeah. Then on the 12th, Lulu Jiao. I don't know if I'm saying that correct, but I love this work. I think it's super pretty stuff. Super fun. Let me turn it down. Yeah. Super fun. Like, you know, the plasticky looking vinyl stuff, but
there's a butt.
Yeah. There's a butt, you know.
Butt.
So really neat looking stuff. I like it. Something that's right up EJ's alley, I think. Not because of the butt, but because of the vinyl stuff. No. Then on the 13th, Android Jones on Maker's Place, which is really cool. Animated pieces in this collection were created in collaboration with Android Jones. Blah, blah, blah. Thrilled to share both digital works. Yeah, really neat looking stuff. Lots of fractally stuff.
Yeah, good description there.
Just reading it. If anything important comes out, you know, then yeah.
Cool.
And then do we have any that's it for the Maker's Place ones, Dave? Do we have any community drops?
We do have a community drop because I was on TikTok the other day and I noticed a little TikTok from Chad Ashley come across the old TikTok.
I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick. Sorry.
All right. Get that Humera going.
Did Chad drop his piece yet? I saw a little preview of that head with all the faces on it.
Yeah.
Looked pretty dope. Oh yeah, it is up. I haven't seen it animated
So
yet.
this one, Skull Candy, this is great. I love the texture on this. I believe that this texture is from the
Everyday
Reskull.
Collections.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Love that. Love what he did with the
great.
eyes. You know, that's perfect. Right. And then, am I full screen? There we go. And then the other one that he posted the other day was this guy right here. This is really cool. Face down.
Yeah, that
Look
looks
at
dope.
Yeah, whose face is
What?
that?
How
Or
did
are
he
they
even
multiple
do
faces?
that? Oh, that looks like it's some kind of like.
It looks like
Almost.
a displacement texture moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it looks like it's triplanar or something with that blend on the corner. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's dope though. It looks
Yeah.
cool.
It would be cool to
Is that like
find out how he did that.
vector displacement?
Could be. I bet you this is Arnold.
Yeah.
I'm just
That's
taking
cool.
a guess that's a little bit of Arnold action right there. I think that's all right because these are sold. These are his older ones. So yeah, Face Down and Skull Candy. We'll put a link to this in the show notes as well. You can check that out. And is there anything else in here? No, I don't believe so. Matt will be back in a second after he.
You need to play like P sound effects while he's gone.
Right.
When he does, just
have
like
a
the
fart
Naked
machine.
Gun kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Get that Humira, dog. I think we mentioned this before the show on the stream and not actually on the recorded show, but we were talking about the Humira thing last week, and somebody commented that they actually worked on that spot.
I don't know the spot you're talking
which
about,
is
the Humira one.
hilarious. Yeah. We'll show it to you after the show. It's the podcaster one where they have to where the podcaster has to go to the bathroom. Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about what you've been doing because there's a lot you've been doing, but there's also like some questions that we would love to ask when it comes to the ins and outs of some of this. And number one, let's before we get into the dead mouse stuff, let's talk about the is it the Smearverse or the Smeariverse? The
Smeariverse, I guess. Yeah.
Smeariverse?
Smeariversable.
Smeariversable.
It's it's this thing. I've partnered up with the guys at Digital Nation Entertainment in LA, and they've been kind of making these metaverse-y, like 3D websites for celebrities and stuff. I think they made one for Grimes and some other people, but they're kind of planning on opening up this CyberXR platform, like without the vowels, cybrxr.com. And where people, maybe there'll be more of a template site where people can build, from various templates and customize it and, get a back end where you can change textures on walls and blah, blah, blah. So there's tons of these kind of sites coming up. But these guys at Cyber have made it, the rendering in it is really good. And there's some really good UE guys over there. So I kind of just did a little mock house, kind of like a Pee-wee's Playhouse weirdo land, and made it in Cinema 4D and gave it to these guys, and they ported it into some WebXR platform that they've developed. And it's really cool because you can jump in and have like webcam calls because your avatar will actually pop up with a video head, and you can
tried that.
Chat. It's cool. Yeah, you came in that day that I launched it. That was fun.
Yeah. I was looking to see if there was like some footage or video of it somewhere. The problem is you don't want to load up the site because it wants you to log in, and it's going to take all this GPU power, and I don't want to open it live.
Yeah, well, we've got our webcams going here and audio issues. So, but if you're watching, check it out. I've been having client meetings in there because it's more fun than a Zoom call. You've got a
really
avatar, chill out,
and you got just like half naked, weird things all around the place, and
it's like this is what you've got to expect if you're going to work with me.
That's true. That's true. You got to be comfortable with this.
But the idea too is like eventually there's like a main screen inside the house where I'll be able to do live streams from there and also have art shows. So I've got a bunch of screens frames in there that we'll be able to cycle through and have kind of group art shows and have a party in there to launch it and whatnot. So I just it's only in the last week I've become a free man again. So I kind of want to get back into that world. But in the meantime, we also built one for the deadmau5 project. So there's kind of a headquarters for the actual NFT project where people can hang out, and there's a little shooter game in there. And
I played it this morning.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
There's some people in the Discord that are like serious about it and have like high scores that I don't even know how they got. Like
that's hilarious.
They've just played perfectly for 3 minutes, kind of thing. It's nuts. But
yeah, there was like, what else was in there? I noticed this morning. I love what you did with the dance floor. First of all, because in the dance floor, in front of the cube, there's like a dance floor, like one of those cube square dance floors, disco dance floors, but it's all the NFTs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's actually a room off to the side, which is a giant sphere, kind of like X-Men, where all 5,555
or whatever.
They're all in there.
They're all in there, yeah.
Oh man, I didn't know that. Yeah, that was really cool. Walking in there, I was like, dude, the in the middle of it though, you have the one giant head. Is it called Goat Lord? Is that the name of it? Okay, I was curious if he called it Goat Lord. I knew it was his head, but I didn't know the name of it. I just assumed. But so that one's like in the middle, and then you also have an avatar of him on his cube in the middle, in front of the dance floor, in the main room.
Are we able to bring in the GTFO, those files into it for our avatars?
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. We're the only NFT project that is available on Ready Player Me. So if you go to readyplayerme.com and set up a avatar, you can go into I think in wardrobe or something on the left-hand side. If you bring up that site, you can see it'll actually allow you to kind of redeem your NFT and add it to your avatar and wear the head. So I thought that they had been doing this for months and there was tons of NFTs on there. And then I just saw them tweet out a couple of days ago, like, no, the only NFT project we have is head. So
but that's where it's all going, right? Like you buy it, you wear your wearables and the cross-platform, and
you'll be able to put your Adidas shoes on your character, whatever. But Ready Player Me has some pretty awesome like clothing and stuff. So we actually had a bunch of little parties with like 30 or 40. I mean, we had like 600 people come through the one day when Joel was in the space.
Nice.
And all these people were coming in with their avatars, but we could only have 30 or 40 in a room before it spawns a new room. Yeah. So it was like, it's unfortunately only the first people could like hang out with me and Joel on that one. But it was like, it's just cool to see the numbers roll through and have all these like people who bought come in with wearing their head, it's pretty cool to see the utility with it. And we've done a partnership with Sandbox too, so you'll be able to redeem your head in Sandbox. And I was like skeptical at first. I'm like, how are they going to make these look good, all voxelated, but they did a great job. And I'm amazed that the detail retains and you can like, wear it and it still looks cool in that space. So that's coming, I think, in the next month or two. And cool. So it's pretty cool to have all these integrations right off the bat where you can use this thing everywhere, kind of thing.
Let's talk about the process a little bit, because there's 10,000. Was it 10,000? No, or was
5,555.
Oh, fives. Yeah. That's right. That's right. Because deadmau 5.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah.
The process of generating them, you mean?
Yeah, because a lot of people have a whole team and then they're using like special software and Houdini and all of that, but you didn't use Houdini.
Good old Cinema 4D. That's how it came out. Well, the crazy thing is we talked to a bunch of different companies at first about doing this, and like I knew nothing about the whole blockchain side of it, but I always thought, why can't we do this in 3D? You're seeing all these 2D ones, and most of the people we talked to do this wanted to just pre-render all of the assets as PNGs and layer them. And I'm like, that's gonna fucking suck. Like, you're not gonna get the reflection of the ears on your head, and like it's just like it's fake 3D, and it sucks. So, and we wanted to give 3D models with it as well. So I actually hit up Orestes. How do you say his last name now?
Constantinides.
Yeah, like a 900-letter Greek last name. But anyway, but he's brilliant, and he's been my guy when I have Cinema 4D problems, because he knows everything, because he's like ex-Maxon employee. So I was like, dude, can we like figure out how to do this? All we need is like a bunch of different buckets to like swap out eyes, mouths, skulls, and ears. There's 4 categories, and he wrote this Python script in Cinema that like basically gave me a little expression where you drop in your nulls that are full of like my 50 different skulls, my 50 different eyes, mouths, and ears, and it randomizes between them, make sure there's no doubles, and makes all these combos. And then I was able to put like a Cinema 4D tag on like a skull and say this skull can only work with ears number 14, 18, 32, blah, 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 in brackets, and just put my number. So then I can make all these rules, like that skull does not work with these ears, so I can eliminate that, and I had to do that for weeks, really.
So you don't have a mecha situation. And not just, these work with these, but then you can also make it to where you're not having very similar things happening, right?
Exactly. So, but it's the kind of thing where you can do that forever. Like I was like, I'm making rules. And at some point I just have to be cool with the result. You know what I mean? Like, you can fiddle with that to infinity, and it's kind of was making me go crazy because I'm like, you've got this kind of godly control over this, but it's also very out of control and chaotic, and then you start making too many rules and they start conflicting, and then you end up with too many of a certain thing, and it was really kind of screwy to do it. But I finally got to a place where I'm like, okay, majority of them look cool. There's still going to be some weird ones, but
it's the DNA, man. It's the DNA of the whole thing.
So the neat thing about it is he also created a script where it would, when you play through it, it exports a CSV file with all of your combinations in a spreadsheet. Then you can also read from that CSV file. So I could go in, if there's any screwed up ones, I could manually change the numbers into something else that maybe looks better. So I did like a by hand round of curation through it, where I'm like, okay, that one looks screwed up, I'll give it these eyes. And by the end of it, I memorized in my head, I know what skull 14 is. I know what eyes 13 is. Like, I know them all off by heart, all 200
That's a
almost,
blonde, that's a brunette, that's a...
Yeah,
your Matrix
I would go in and by the end of it, I'm like, no, it was crazy. Like, by the end, I was like, okay, I want to add these eyes to this one. So I just kind of did a pass to just get rid of the real messed up looking ones. And I didn't eliminate all of them, but it kind of needed that to be able to make a lot of them look cooler, or just get rid of the real freaky ones that you couldn't really write that many rules to avoid. You know what I mean? So
is there one in particular that's your favorite?
Yeah.
Like, which of the traits are your favorites?
I like the really kind of gross looking ones with the weird skin. I mean, Joel's and mine, the goat one that I did in ZBrush is kind of cool. Just 'cause I spent a lot of time on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the cool thing was, like, I made a bunch of like what we called mouse matches, which were like the perfect, like the Bitcoin eyes, the Bitcoin skull, the Bitcoin mouth, the Bitcoin ears. All perfect match would be that. But then some of the cooler ones are where they have like 3 of those and then like weird eyes or something. Or like, like they're almost perfect matches, but not, then they've got one wild card in them. So those ones are kind of popular with the collectors because they look cool. But the weird thing about
mine. I like mine a lot.
You got a cool one. The weird thing about Rarity Sniper in this situation is that it's based on, like, if you go, that's what the site we use to kind of like figure out how rare your head is, but it doesn't account for those 3 of 4 matches. You know what I mean? Like, so there'll be like, you could have like the Bitcoin eyes, Bitcoin skull, Bitcoin ears, and a weird mouth, and it would rank really low on the rarity score because they might be all, common traits.
Right.
But when you look at those traits, there's only, let's say, 4 out of the entire collection that have those 3 of 4. So you've actually got a really rare one, but it doesn't count on Rarity Sniper. You know what I mean? So I think collectors have been kind of privy to that and realizing, like, hey, we've got, some rare ones here that aren't necessarily counted rare on Rarity Sniper.
Right.
What is this map?
Some of those
yours?
That one was mine. I was really.
Oh yeah.
I really liked mine.
Yeah.
I did like that you can with the what is it? Keep wanting to say GTFO. It's not the GLTF file. Like that's super cool. Like giving that away as well as the actual like thing.
Yeah, and they're all downloadable by anyone. Like, you don't even have to own it to get the content.
Really?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So people got those plus a 2160 by 2160 Octane render of each image downloadable. And I just actually uploaded to the Discord PNGs with transparent background as well of those renders. I just ran that pack last night. And Orestes is actually working on an FBX export script for me, so I'll be able to give everyone FBXs as well.
That's cool.
Awesome.
So that's coming.
So
cool. I would love also to be able to just give C4Ds with my original Octane 4K materials, which I'm gonna hopefully do as well.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone who's into Octane can have those.
But it basically has to go through and export every single frame as an FBX, or every single frame as a C4D.
Yeah.
When you scroll through the timeline, does it look really cool?
Yeah, it just like jitters and randoms out, like it's the cool thing is like all the expression does is toggles visibility on the different null layers within the nulls, right? So it just like turns on and off visibility, and then it he did some kind of a weird trick with the camera. Actually, it renames the camera the combination of your eyes, ears, mouth, numbers, and then it exports your file with that number that it pulls from the name of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
so
why.
It can, like, do a take, probably so you can do a take or something, right? You have takes set up?
I don't think takes are set up. No, it's just literally to pull that name, the combo number out of something that they could get out of the process somehow. Yeah, but then it's cool because he also built in a thing where if I change that CSV file manually, like I said, I just swap a bunch of traits. Then he built in a check in the expression as well in the Python script where it checks for doubles. So in case I made a double, it'll find it. So we had all these like safety checks and things. It's pretty robust.
That's cool.
But actually, I did want to share something cool. If anyone wants to mess with it, some guy just released a similar plugin add-on for Blender that does exactly kind of the same thing.
See, this needs to be a packaged thing that Maxon puts out for people. Like for real.
You and Orestes should put this together and be like, oh, here's your NFT thing.
I just put it in the chat.
Okay, cool.
I think
I don't see it yet.
I don't see it. Did you hit enter?
I did hit enter.
Oh, did you send it to me?
The YouTube chat.
Oh, the YouTube chat.
Yeah, that probably won't work.
It probably won't do it. Yeah, put it in the Skype chat.
Send it to Dave on chat.
Cool.
Yeah. So, I was going to ask you that CSV file, the spreadsheet you have, right? Does it have the photos in it, like the renders? You can look at the renders.
No, it's just numbers. So it's like I made a legend after with renders that I populated it with the images manually, but no, the spreadsheet just does the 4 categories plus the background color and just a dummy check if there's a double or not. So it's got 6 categories.
Here's that link you sent here. This is so it's just exporting each one essentially, right?
Yeah, I think it's very similar to what we made. I don't know if it's as robust. I just kind of skimmed over the video, but it looks like you can kind of do it for free on Blender.
Plus, you'd have to learn Blender. That's the only problem.
Yeah. Totally. But we actually use Blender for this as well. So after to do the GLTF exports, I was just kind of thought I was screwed because I already had to redo all my Octane textures as Cinema 4D standard textures to do the GLTF export. And then we partnered with Ready Player Me, and they're like, yeah, we need all of these heads to be single material.
Oh. Yeah, so that was going to be my question. Was the whole processing for that, man, that probably was an undertaking in itself just to get it.
That was a bitch, man. It was crazy. I was like, how are we going to do this? This is a fucking nightmare. But then we found this software. Actually, the guys from Ready Player Me suggested it called Simply Gone. And we're looking at it, and I'm like, wow, this does exactly what we need to do. It got a really intelligent, with tons of different options, polygon reduction tools. It can do it by surface area. It can do it by prioritizing roundness or flat areas. It's got really, really robust options. And then it also does baking. It'll bake all your textures into one single material with multi-layer. So it's it was our one-stop shop. And then we go to use it, and it's like, wow, this is free. You can just use this. And then there's some fine print under a drop-down menu saying that Microsoft retains the ability to use any model you make with this.
Oh, geez.
They had some ownership over your models. And I was like, what the I'm glad we found this before we actually ran anything on it. But then you had to buy it, and it was very expensive. 10 grand or 20 grand a seat, depending on how much money you're going to make on the thing.
Jeez.
It's like but it was the kind of thing where I'm like, what are we going to do otherwise? Like, how else are you going to bake all these materials? Like, it was, and some of these heads would end up with like 40 objects in them based on how I built them. And I was, it's just optimizing nightmare. So we ran it through all this, through Simplygon in Blender. And we're able to automate the script to just like bust out all these, and you could set it to exactly 3,000 polygons and made them all exactly 3,000 polygons, single material, and they were ready to rock out of the box. And
did any of them like most of them look good, but then one just didn't look good because of the polygons?
Yes. So I had some that were like super, we had to do 3 or 4 passes, and I'd have to find so all the eyes had eyelids that were like toruses, and so I had to make those into textures because they were glitching out with the eyelid layers. And I had to do another bunch of rounds of optimization in Cinema before we ran the export because it was all screwy. It was still a nightmare. I'm not gonna lie, it was still a total nightmare.
So how from beginning to end, how long did you work on this project?
I think I remember going to a party at Joel's place in like September 11th, and I had already had like I don't know, like maybe 40 or 50 different little like sample designs of these early heads, and then we released in November, October? I don't remember.
That's good.
November.
That's good.
Yeah, it was like maybe it was, I don't know. It was a few months of nonstop long days of building these things and texturing them, and doing a lot of Substance Painter.
What is the rarest one right now?
The rarest ones are, I guess, Joel's is technically the rarest because his are all traits that are not shared by any other.
Right.
Or I guess I have the other goat one, so there's a couple, like just the goat horns are shared. But other than that, Joel's is pretty much entirely unique, one of one.
Is he getting offers for it? Like, do people
I don't know.
send him bids?
And I've got some low balls on mine, like
We'll
but I think those are bots.
Yeah.
But then there's 5 Jokers in the collection, and only 3 of them or 2 of them have been unearthed. So there's these like jester hat ones that there's only 5 of them. Then the mouse matches, like the ones that are like full, like I said, all Bitcoin or all like Tron looking ones. They're all kind of pretty rare, and they've all been collected. So
are there any plans to do more stuff with this, to do drops and gamification stuff and all of that?
Yeah, there's I don't know if I can talk too much about it, but there is a airdrop coming up this year, and there is like more integrations. Joel is actually, I don't know if you know anything about his Oberhasli project. He's been building the scene in Unreal where he's got cows flopping around and like his cat
like you
Mallington's running around, and but he's got his whole live setup, like his actual cube, and he's got his like touch designer stuff going right into his live visuals and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's crazy. So I was like, I was talking to him the night before, and he did like an all-night Twitch stream, and I woke up the next morning. He was still going at like 7:30 a.m. with his with his cube, playing content of the heads. He was pulling from the GLTFs on OpenSea, the actual ones that OpenSea's pulling from the server. He had it so his Twitch viewers could type in a number of a head, and it would make his head, while he was DJing, turn into that head. That's from cool. Those GLTFs straight into Unreal, streaming live on Twitch. Like, I was like, how the fuck did you figure that out, man? And these weren't the Ready Player Me like 3,000 polygon ones. They were the full poly,
no way,
like ones from OpenSea. So I was pretty impressed that he figured all that out in like one sitting.
Yeah.
So that's coming. Like, eventually his actual project will be released with some kind of integration officially. I want to do prints as well, so that you can purchase a signed, big print of your head, and only token holders will be able to buy those. I would love to get proper toys made, like where you get like a nice.
That would be so awesome.
Yeah, so I all those things are kind of on the horizon, hopefully. And then also, like, there's no official talk yet, but there's going to be some kind of live show perks to owning one of these, and I think that's where
yeah.
So I mean, I don't know what that's going to be yet or what that looks like. I'm not looped in on those conversations right now, but there's going to be something down the line, which is going to give these some real world value, you know? So
maybe you can convince him to come on.
You should export the FBX of mine, you know, and send it to me, and I'll 3D print it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, my brother did. My brother did this one the other day with some iridescent weird.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like fun. Purple on one side, gold on the other. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, maybe you can convince him to come on the show again, and and y'all can tell us about whenever any new things go on later on this year. Kind of doing, you know, a breakdown or something.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
But I think there's other than that, there's a lot of content being created by the community too, because we gave away these GLTFs and because we gave away so that's kind of been the cool thing about it, is watching people make crazy AR filters with theirs and stuff like that.
That's rad.
Patty says that Jules plans to add NFT capabilities to the file format GLTF. He said they become 3D metaverse hyperlink objects that reference like high fidelity render media streams. He worked with the Kronos group on it. And the small GLTF files will reference any render network asset or job on chain, including input assets, output streams, including usage rights. Wow.
That's when Jules was on here last time. I was pretty impressed with that idea. I hadn't really heard that talked about much, but I think he was talking about the light feel or what his 3D scanning stuff that he's got going on, and how just the idea of giving away assets to everyone, with the caveat that if you use it, some small residual goes back to the creator of that asset. And I mean, imagine if you just had the keys to TurboSquid, you could use whatever the hell you want. Imagine how freeing that would be, where you could just make literally anything, and a portion of profits of whatever goes to the owner. That's great for everyone too. I joked when Jules was on your comments that, oh wow, now the astronaut modelers of TurboSquid will finally get paid, because so many people have made literally millions of dollars by just lighting and rendering someone else's model. It's like, all right, like imagine if those people actually got paid for that. How cool that would be. So I'm all for that. And same thing with music, like audio samples, VST instruments, make them free for everyone to use and get some kind of a kickback. It would be dope for a lot of content creators that sell stuff online.
Yeah, anything like texture packs, model packs, whatever it is, and being able to have that, you can put in your own royalty number on there, so you could make it $0, except some sort of thing in there about, royalty only, and they get the royalties whenever it's used in a project.
But it's cool if that metadata is right in there. And I talked to Jules when we were in New York. We were doing that little launch party for the Head project for deadmau5. And, I was telling him, oh man, it was such a pain in the ass to go from Octane to Cinema 4D materials to GLTF. And he's like, oh, we're working on a GLTF export direct from Octane. And I was like, why didn't you tell me that? 'Cause that would be amazing. If the crappy thing about GLTF is you can't do bump maps or displacement, obviously. But you have to, convert it to normal. I think that can all be automated somehow. So, but yeah, that's exciting. I mean, and having some, I don't know, if I fully understood that tweet that Patty retweeted the other day, where Jules was talking about the GLTF format and something about the OrbX wrapping in that, or if there's
being able to write code into the GLTF file format.
I'm just wondering if they have a better viewer than a lot of the ones out there, where you could like an Orbex kind of
viewer.
Swap out, change the lighting. Imagine if you buy an NFT and you can mess with the lighting or to change things you could change in an Orbex potentially. It could be really interesting.
A brigade player, that plays Orbex.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah. I feel like anything that you come up with and have an idea for having to do with that, Jules is like, oh yeah, we're already doing that.
Yeah.
If you ask him, what would be cool? And he's like, yeah, we're doing that already.
He's 10 years ahead of all of us.
Yeah. He's from the future, so.
He's already on the holodeck.
Yeah.
Jules is actually a hologram.
Projection.
So my buddy Davey and I went to Jules's office. He invited us to the Otoy headquarters there. and
cool.
we're sitting there talking to Jules. Is like, so what are the top things you'd like to change about Octane, like your suggestions, whatever. And then all of a sudden, like 2 Apache helicopters like flew right beside us, like outside of the window.
Yeah.
And my buddy Davey, he's all into conspiracy stuff. He was just like, that wasn't real, man. That was like simulation. He's got some kind of Octane simulation running on the windows that overlays.
Yeah.
It's like right away, I'm like giving Jules the side eye, like, you got
those were his holographic
with us.
displays. He just wanted to see
Exactly,
if he thought
yeah.
they were real enough.
He was just testing us to see if that actually happened.
Yeah, I always thought that would be fun to do your actual window in a room as a just giant LED, and you could just make it daytime at night if you want. That'd be fun. Maybe I'll do that here. I never open the window anymore.
I've seen a bunch of like things on TikTok where people will take a projector and project it onto a wall as if it's like a window, so that you can control like the weather or whatever you want.
Fun. Make it storm. Play some rain sounds.
Yeah.
Soothing rain sounds.
I don't know.
Tell us about
bunkers.
Tell us about Art Basel.
Yeah, that was wild. It was I had a piece up with Super Rare for their big video monolith.
Yeah.
And
it's cool.
Yeah, it looked awesome. Like seeing it in real life was pretty amazing, and all the artists they had on it were pretty cool. There was like I was more into the ones that actually used the box geometry I did. There was a bunch of artists that kind of dove into the sort of space of it and made it work, and it was super awesome to see. Just the super bright LED cube blasting at nighttime especially was cool. But so that was pretty fun. And what else? I had a piece up at Scope with Super Chief Gallery, and they had a pretty cool setup. I was actually kind of surprised at that there wasn't more video screens everywhere. There's a few galleries that had stuff at Scope in particular, but it was also the first year ever for NFT digital art at Basel for the most part, because there was none. There wasn't a Basel last year. This
is the screen here. I'll have to go find do you have it on Insta or something? I'll have to go find what it actually looked like.
Yeah, I think I just did Insta stories. It might be in my story highlights there at Basel, but
the Facebooks or something. I don't know.
I'll
find it.
But it's but yeah, that was super fun. But it was also just fun meeting everyone and going to all the parties. I was only there for like 60 hours or something. Like it was a pretty quick burn.
Who did you see there?
I ran into Octane Jesus at Scope for a little while.
Yeah.
And, Mike Beeple came out to this weird yacht party we went to, and hung out with him for a bit. And just Ryan Talbot. Tons. It was cool to kind of make some reacquaintances with people. But it was pretty awesome. I went to the Christie's had a wicked party where the whole kind of NFT community was. But it was really cool to see NFT world kind of meld in with the Art Basel world, because I used to go to Art Basel like 10 or 15 years ago when I was a kid. I would like drive a bunch of like established traditional artists' work down to Miami from Toronto in my pickup truck and like set up. So that my history with Art Basel is like a decade ago, and to like go revisit it again now with like all the digital stuff intertwined is pretty interesting. But it's also just a long time coming. Like, why did it take this long for like digital art in general to be accepted in the art world? I remember going to art school in like 1999, and it was like or early 2000s is like, oh, you could make your art on a DVD and try and sell that, and who's buying a plastic DVD jewel case for $1,000? Like it just wasn't. It was laughed at. It's the
collectability now.
Like
exactly. With a physical art piece, you actually own the physical art piece. With this, the collectability, of the blockchain and stuff.
Sure. But it's still, regardless of that, it's still long overdue that it's
that artists can actually be taken serious in this realm. Yeah.
The Rafik Anadol, I'm probably not saying his name right, but that guy's piece on Miami Beach was unbelievable. It was like a 30-foot video screen, super bright. They hit all of the cables and generators, so it was literally just this box on the beach, and it was pretty mesmerizing.
That's cool.
I just buried everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's super cool.
Yeah. Where do you think this stuff is going in the future? Like, where do you think? Well, first of all, the art's going to be the art, and the art's going to evolve too, I'm sure. But like, where do you think the metaverse and everything's going? Yeah.
Yeah.
Metaverse is like, I think everyone's waiting for the Facebooks and the Googles to just, launch their domineering, advertised, infused hellholes. But
yeah,
the weird thing is it just seems like a weird play to me for Facebook to do this in general, because like we've gotten to the point now with social media where you just have to flick your thumb, and it's so lazy, and that's what's making money. That's where all the attention time is going, and it's this lazy TikTok, 8 seconds. I don't even care who made it. Don't even need to subscribe to that person. Just flick on the toilet. And now you're trying to make this thing where like you have to wear a headset or like go like, and it's like these like, my aunts on Facebook who are posting, crap with one click aren't going to go into this. Like what is the audience, and the audience of this hates Meta and hates Facebook. The actual audience that likes metaverses and likes DeFi and all this crypto stuff hates who's trying to mainstream it. So it's just a weird dichotomy to me right now. I think when Google does it and they use Google Earth and you can overlay a giant hot dog on your house, like that'll be cool. But it's also like going to be an advertising help.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, but when you've got, there will be the definitive like, whoever it is, like you said, but it's going to be mainstream when AR is mainstream. There's no mainstream metaverse before mainstream AR.
Yeah, and I think it's going to take way longer than people think, judging by the way investments are going into it. It's reminding me of weed stocks right now. You have a company that says metaverse and you get like $14 million worth of money injected into you and you haven't made a dime yet. It's like same thing happened to weed stocks here in Canada, where it's like you just have some like, you bought a strain of hemp that you have the patent for, and all of a sudden someone throws you $500,000 and you're like, didn't even make a dollar, probably won't. It's just like, it's a lot of, money being thrown around at stuff where how many people are really hanging out in Decentraland right now? Yeah. How long is Decentraland going to last when it looks like ass? And you're going to get some pixel streamed, wicked Unreal Engine site that totally doesn't even require any processing GPU power because it's on some server being pixel streamed, and it kicks the crap out of Decentraland and makes it look like Star Fox from Super Nintendo, like it's just like, and then everyone's buying this like real estate for $500,000 in Star Fox, and like, what's that going to be worth if overnight something comes out that kills it? I don't have a lot of faith in some of these ugly, not shaded nicely platforms doing well in the future.
It's very Second Life. It's just like Second Life. Really?
But I think the key to it is kind of making worlds that are upgradable, making worlds that can roll with the technology. As like, if everything goes fiber optic and you can stream way heavier without it's about offloading the processing power to the servers and being able to stream this really high end, renders.
Like is Fortnite pixel streamed? Because sometimes I feel like I see compression when I play it on the Switch. Anyway,
that's just the Switch. The Switch is it just can't handle it. I noticed that a lot too with Rocket League on the Switch. And because I've played Rocket League a lot on the Xbox, and I don't have issues like that like I do on the Switch. Yeah,
but I mean, you're going to have when you think of it in terms of big corporations, of course, Facebook is on board because they know that they're losing interest.
Yeah,
I don't go on Facebook anymore.
I love that you say the people who are into the metaverse hate the people who are doing the metaverse. True. It's really funny.
They'll use it, but we'll be putting on, Oculus Quest. And we'll be talking to each other for fun and play some games, but that's not going to be our metaverse hangout.
Right. I mean, we really enjoyed Rec Room for a while.
It's a lot cooler now too.
Yeah, I mean, we did a lot of Rec Room stuff. It was almost weekly, and it was a lot of fun, But it's like, you did have to pull out. I don't think the technology has to be readily available and cheap, or basically they have to they're going to have to give away headsets to everyone and anyone they want in their metaverse.
The other big hurdle is that there's all this, still pretty relevant blowback on crypto and NFTs, and not just users, like actual platforms. Like VR chat is very adverse to crypto and NFTs, and that I don't think that's going to happen in there anytime soon. And like you hear about the big gaming companies who are taking stands. Sega just said they're not going to do NFTs if it's seen as a cash grab, and it's really divisive, not just in like users and audiences, but like I just know even from doing my Eric Andre collaboration is just like seeing a bit. I didn't get as much blowback as some of his other NFT collaborations, but like Tim and Eric had to like undo their NFT because people hated and their fan base hated NFTs so much.
Yeah, weird.
But what's the hate? Yeah. Is it the environmental aspects? Because
I think there's a lot of different
solving
reasons.
That.
Yeah, it's not just that. It's like people are being super annoying on Twitter with their NFTs, where they tweet 8 empty, meaningless pro NFT tweets an hour. Like it's too much, people, and it just makes people block and mute you if you do it. And I think people do it because they think it's going to get them more sales if they, just like Brown knows the space hard, but it's you got to realize what it looks like to your audience that is not all just crypto people. I think you got to people need to be more tactful about that, and also just the money bragging side of it, where it's just like blasting. It's not as bad as it was when this first happened, but it's like blasting.
And there's no way to get
figures
around it. You can't be like, you can't hide your sales figures.
No, but it's like I think it's all these things that add up to it. It's like there's some people, super annoying people in the NFT world, and that makes people annoyed, and then they latch onto the environmental stuff as well, which I think long term isn't going to be as much of an issue. But it's just the hate comes from a bunch of different places. What I think it's just and artists who are also just see it as I don't know. There's just also so much crap art that's making so much money that it devalues the whole idea of it. You've got artists that are really good that are making amazing stuff that isn't selling as much as an ugly ass half-ass doodle that someone's buying just because of who the person is, not the art. So that pisses people off too. So it's like a weird thing, like no one's in control of how people spend their money, but it definitely makes people disgruntled. So I think that's the hate comes from a lot of different places. And some of it's justified, some of it's not, but it's like,
Yeah, there's what was I going to ask you about? Oh no, I know what I was going to say. Like you said, was it Sega who said they weren't going to do anything?
I thought it was kind of a careful corporate announcement saying that if it's seen as a cash grab, they're not going to pursue NFTs or something like that.
I don't think anybody would want to say like, right, exactly. You don't want to say you're not going to at all. Like the story I always tell is my dad went into a Blockbuster video back in the late 80s, early 90s, and there DVDs were starting to kind of get popular, and he asked the manager if they would ever rent DVDs, and the manager said, "Oh no, we'll never do that." And it's like, okay, well, don't say never, because I don't think that what's going to happen 10 years from now.
Yeah.
I think what the biggest thing I heard recently is just like you've got these, I think Polygon was kind of hindered recently by some game I don't even remember the name of, where you earn to play. So people are kind of like mining a coin or a token by playing the game. And it's taken a huge 30-40% of the Polygon network is being gobbled up by these transactions by this game. So it just kind of sparked it thinking like this is like games where you actually earn by playing. Like imagine if you earned some actual spendable crypto by playing Rocket League, I'd be a bazillionaire right now. You know what I mean? And if that's how people are being rewarded and they can actually real world spend this stuff, I mean, NFT gaming is going to take off like wildfire, and people who don't get into it might be left in the dust. It feels like,
Yeah, fractions of a token.
I think I think right now it's all about a branding, right? So if a company is going to start doing NFT stuff or whatever, like start selling digital goods that you can, put on your avatars or move it from one game to another, they're just going to rebrand it as something else. They're going to call it digital goods or digital downloads. But what it's going to be is just an NFT wrapped in a different name.
Everything will be on the blockchain eventually.
100%. Yeah.
Because, like Solana, for example, isn't it able to do more transactions at a faster rate?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I don't know much about Solana, but I've heard good things about its ease of use and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
for the one thing that I've bought on the Solana network, it was so easy to do. Yeah.
I'm wondering what's going on with Render and Solana. I thought there was some announcement of them shifting over.
They are.
To that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They made that announcement as well. And my question is, how is this going to play out? Because we know that based on old technologies, it's always like there's a bunch of people who adopted it first. There's some companies that will try. Some companies make it through. Some of them try and fail. It irons itself out in the end. Somebody, of course, finds a way to do advertising all over everything, but it's going to flush itself out. But the first thing, again, if we're talking metaverse, not necessarily Web3, but like metaverse and 3D objects and things, the first thing that has to happen is the mass adoption of a way to view it, which would be AR. But that has to be mass adopted first. So is it going to be Apple comes out with $100 AR glasses? Yeah, probably not $100, probably $7.99. Let's face it, it's going to be more than a watch. But all the processing power is done in the phone. Somehow it becomes mainstream. At that point, that's when it's going to start. Somebody's going to have something widely accepted before Aunt Mabel is hooking up her meta collection. You know.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we can go pretty far in the browser before we need to, have full AR capabilities. I mean, you've got the Pokemon Go kind of AR style apps that are going to be very popular and necessary in the growth of it. But I think as far as just the video gamey 3D worlds, it's going to be all desktop for quite a while. Like gaming is so huge. It's not that far off from that. It's really the same thing. So once it comes to the consoles and the, more playable versions of it, not just like a high-powered GPU desktop computer, it's got to be super accessible in that gaming world, and I think it'll live there for as long as possible. Until Aunt Mabel can jump in with her old lady glasses that project into her eyeballs.
So she can jump into her multi-level marketing schemes
that
are on the blockchain.
Yeah, totally.
Digital oils.
Those Avon lady metaverse.
Right. They can see how the makeup's gonna look on them through their AR.
VR crochet, that's a good one in the comments. Yeah,
VR
totally.
Crochet. Yeah,
macrame.
I'm really impressed with the AR stuff that Apple's doing. I haven't played with it a lot, but like for example, I've been eyeing the Apple Watch, trying to decide if I want to go that route or not. Just keep going to their site. And the other day, I was looking at it and it says view the watch in AR, and I'm like, why not? So I click and I can view the watch on the table. And man, I just got to say that with LiDAR, the tracking is just so dead on. It's pretty incredible if you've never played with it.
I've been super impressed with all these like iPad 3D apps, and that point cloud NFT you showed earlier might have been done on that, but there's some really cool, 3D tracking and photogrammetry stuff, and I'm like almost going to buy an Apple device now for the first time in my life.
Wait, you don't have an iPhone?
No. I'll be right back.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, man.
Cue the P stream.
My doctor said Humera. Humera. Should find that sometime. We'll probably get tagged for copyright.
Do you guys do like a top rug pulls of the week on the drop?
That's a good idea actually. What are the top?
I don't know which ones they are, but no, I saw some pop up on my Twitter feed this week. I forget what they're called. I kind of steer clear of any sketchy PFP crap myself, but I just see it happening all the time, and I'm like, what the hell? People losing their shirts on jumping into the next thing all the time.
Well, I mean, hell, first of all, mechas. I mean,
that wasn't a rug recover?
No, and it wasn't a rug pull per se. I mean, it really had potential.
Greasy.
They didn't do what you did. They didn't really go through and make sure that there were no duplicates. It was rushed, and I think that's what killed them there.
They look cool though, but the other thing was there's some shenanigans going on because somebody posted one that sold for like 2 ETH and then sold for like 500 ETH or some crazy amount like right after.
That's
it was
weird.
Like, yeah, some sketchy looking transactions where it's obviously some kind of wash trade, you know.
That's weird. Yeah.
But who knows if that was a user or a creator or who the hell does that crap? But it's all over the place.
I thought it was going to do better. I thought that because, of course, before they were released, when everybody had their, you had it, but you couldn't see what it was yet. And the numbers on it, man. Matt should have taken his $17,000 offer or whatever he got.
Oh, wow. He had one that was rare,
yeah. And this is before he knew even what it was. That's the thing. People were offering before you could see it. And so we heard everything going on, the problems they had and whatnot. And I really thought it was going to recover, though, because they were cool looking. It was so hyped compared to anything else. And in the end, I think that Matt's Slim Hood was doing better than the Mecha. Which the Slim Hoods were not near as known. I wish he was done in the bathroom so that we could ask him about it. But
I just don't. I wonder about all these projects because I'm getting my Instagram DMs are like 4 a day now with somebody pumping some 5,000, 10,000 project, and I'm like, there's this many that I'm getting directly hit up about. How many are there in general? It's just every week there's like tons more of them. So what does that really do? It just becomes more and more of a lottery every day. But that's kind of the nature of NFTs in general. Even ones by artists, it's like the volume is going one direction. It's massively watered down every day.
Overly saturated, man. And so, but again, that's why it comes back to branding, right? It's all about branding. It's all about the ones that are going to be super popular for whatever reason. Luck of the draw.
For a temporary period of time. It really is like pop music. It's like you've got to get that hit for that week or month or whatever it is and then make some kind of a memorable splash, Like it's more akin to pop music than it is art.
Yeah, they're Beanie Babies.
Like yeah.
It really is. There's a documentary right now on HBO about... I think it's
Beanie Baby Mania.
Beanie Babies, yeah. And it's so.
There's that famous picture makes me laugh every time of the couple in court like separating their Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
And the divorce.
And now they're like worth nothing. Some of them are still
worth
something, but Julie has a box of them in storage, and we took them out, started looking through to see what was worth what, and. I can imagine that happening 20 years from now. I'm looking through my old MetaMask accounts. Oh, look at this. Look at this old piece right here. I don't know. Also, come on, Matt. Come on. I'm stalling here. There we go. Because I wanted to ask him about that. So tell us, Matt, about your Slim Hoods compared to your Mecha. We were talking about how Mecha's just kind of fizzled and. Your Slim Hood was worth more?
No, it's getting there, though. Well, I don't have either now. I sold them both, Yeah. I sold them both when ETH was up, and now ETH is down, and I'm just losing money left and right.
Me too, man. It's pretty...
it's funny. So, like, I don't know. I got really, I don't know. I got the yips with NFTs. Because...
Did you do a panic sell or what? You sold everything?
Kind of, a little bit. So here's the thing. Mechaverse did really well before everything, actually got revealed. And I was like, oh, this is going to be the next Bored Ape. This is going to be awesome. I'm holding on to this forever, right? And it got up to, $30,000, $40,000 or something. And I was like, nah, I'm going to hold on. And then it dropped down a few weeks later to 1 ETH. And it's okay. So, I minted it, so it was only $720 to mint. I still made money, but I could have made a lot more money,
Yeah.
So, I've been watching everything and I bought, I don't know. I saw it on Twitter. These Slim Hoods and stuff like that. And Slim Hoods, I think, are a really good example of having a really good roadmap, because they started this whole collective, where it's like with Slim Hoods and Invisible People and the Rollers and stuff like that. And so they're all working together in one Discord and stuff like that. And so in order to get Invisible People, which looks really cool, you have to have a Slim Hood and a Roller in order to. So it caused the price of Slim Hoods to go up significantly, right? I bought a Slim Hood at like 0.3 ETH or something. It was like $130, And so because of this whole, and at one point they were you could buy one for like $35. They were 0.01 ETH or something, which was ridiculous. And they're the only one that I've seen that dropped down a whole lot and then started like gaining like crazy, to bring themselves back up from 0.01 ETH. So now, I've been wanting to sell them for a while, but my tax burden after selling my Beeple piece last year is going to be ridiculous. So I'm not looking forward to it at all. So I held off until the beginning of the year, and I saw that Slim Hoods were going up and up and up, and it got up to like 0.65 ETH, and I was like, all right, I'm going to sell it, So I sold that, and I sold my Mecha like right at the beginning of the year because Mechas looked like they were going up a little bit. And now Slim Hood is almost to the exact point where I sold my Mecha. They're at 1.14 ETH. It's just crazy right now,
Wow. So nuts, all these projects and watching them go up and down, just like money flowing from one to the other. I'm actually glad
I have to like step away from it. Like I don't like going back and looking at it because it's like, I made that decision. Dave and we sold a Beeple piece for $3,500.
Wow.
But
whoops.
Yeah, when it first came out, like
when
2 days later.
I mean, the thing is, we bought 3 pieces right at the beginning. We sold that other one because we didn't know,
at the time.
Yeah, and $3,500. It covered all the costs of all 3 Beeple pieces that we bought. I mean, how were we supposed to know that it was going to go up to $50,000-$60,000?
Right.
It's fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
But after doing that, like, because doing a project like that Deadmau5 thing was pretty all-consuming for a while. Now I'm just kind of like glad to get out of the, mania of like watching the numbers and all that stuff and get back to one-of-one pieces.
Yeah.
So I felt like just all year last year, I was like, I had some good momentum going into the NFT world at the very beginning, and then I like agreed to do all these like NFT collabos and projects for people, and then I just like killed my momentum. So I'm kind of saying no to jobs for this year as long as I can to kind of get back on the one-of-ones and do some deep multi-character weirdness,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so
totally.
Getting in that rope, squeezing into the Rococo.
Oh boy. Go ahead.
Oh, fuck.
Hey, y'all.
Got the dog.
I heard Smearballs was here today, so as a dog, when I hear the phrase Smearballs, I think
Dorpy.
No.
Let's not go that direction. Have you invested in any collections this year?
Glad you asked. No, but I am designing my own collection. They're called Dead Dogs.
Dead Dogs?
Yeah, Dead Dogs. It's got a 5 at the end instead of the S, so you know it's good. Yeah. Here it is.
I think you're gonna get sued over that one.
Yeah, right.
Joel's lawyer is already rubbing their hands together.
It's a 10,000-piece collection of dead dog heads, from dead poodles to dead Dobermans. They're as dead as a dog, and they're not happy about it.
That looks really original and cool.
Yeah, I think it's gonna sell well.
Yeah. Each version has its own unique collar as well, and it includes my favorite pattern on the collar. Houndstooth.
Houndstooth.
Yeah. And
I sure hope you don't put that laugh in the edits like I was laughing at you. I was laughing at how uncomfortable that joke was.
And I should also mention that the first piece minted, number 1, it actually isn't the most valuable. It's number 2. Okay, bye.
All right.
It's a nice piece. It's a nice
Great.
piece. Look at that. Look at that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The
good.
houndstooth collar. Yeah, this thing's gonna sell well. We should put that out there. Put that on OpenSea.
Awesome.
Anything else? Anything else we want to talk about in NFTs today?
Nikki, you were saying that you've done a bunch of are people hitting you up for NFT work now? And are you doing any or getting offers for like regular client work? Hey, I need some weird Smearballs videos.
Sure,
that aren't NFT.
That never really went away, but I've been pretty picky and turning down a lot of that stuff just because I want focus on where the money's at. And there was more lucrative NFT projects on the table than there were advertising jobs for me in the last year, so I kind of just went that way. But yeah, I did a few small advertising jobs for Old Spice and stuff. I did some collabos with Meow Wolf for their exhibit in
Cool.
You're a good
Colorado.
match for that.
Yeah.
I did a bunch of promo videos. That was a lot of fun, actually. And that wasn't like a big money gig. It's just Meow Wolf is cool, and I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So I kind of rocked some promo videos for their crazy Vegas, 50,000 square foot. I want to go check that out.
Is that the one with the grocery store?
Yeah.
Omega Mart. So I was supposed to go to Vegas for Joel's birthday because he was started a residency there, and it just got canceled because of COVID stuff. But I wanted that was on my itinerary to go check out the Omega Mart exhibit, but have to do it next time.
Yeah, for sure.
Or whenever NAB happens again, I guess.
Yeah,
go back
hopefully.
to Vegas and check it out.
It's gonna
dates.
happen.
There's dates on the calendar, but we'll see.
But yeah, the NFT collabos have been popping up quite a bit. A lot of music artists getting into it, obviously. I did a piece with Wu-Tang that still hasn't been fucking released for that sale of the Once Upon a Time in Shaolin album. I actually did the video for that, which I haven't been able to show anyone because they haven't. The Pleaser, the DAO that bought it, I think they want to find a way to fractionalize that NFT and make $1 bazillion and get around any whatever SEC problems with that shit. Because they did that with the Doge meme, right? They bought that for a few million, and everyone's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And then they turned around and fractionalized it and made $50 million off it or something.
And is that an SEC issue right now?
I think so. I talked to some guys in Miami who were talking about hyperpixelization, where they, instead of selling an NFT and fractionalizing it, they sell each pixel as an NFT, and then then you collectively own it, same as these other schemes. But it's I don't know, but I'm just kind of pissed because I made this kick-ass video. I spent months on it for this Wu-Tang album, where it's I guess I can't even really talk about it. I'm pretty NDA'd out the ass for it, but I just want them to release it and actually create the NFT for it, because it's that took up a quarter of my year last year, that project. But hopefully it comes out this year when they finally release it. But I think when you've got a DAO of 80 people, you have to vote on every little thing. It seems like every decision coming out of that takes a month, before everyone pipes in and votes on stuff. So I don't know. Hopefully something comes of that this year. But and then I'm working with Mike. I don't know. You guys have probably talked about his Madonna thing with Area.
I know about the Madonna thing.
I didn't know that thing was public yet.
Oh, isn't it? Oh,
I don't know.
I have no idea.
He mentioned it on Rogan. He said he's doing it on Rogan.
He did?
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit out of the bag on that, but I don't know. Something might be happening with that, or maybe not. It's all bad.
I have seen it. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's gonna be a thing. I had heard that it was either just not happening, or it slowed down, or something.
Yeah, I heard he was waiting. He was waiting to hear back from Madonna, and Madonna just hasn't said anything.
Well, no, it's been going back and forth, and then I thought it was dead, and then I heard him on Rogan say it was still on, and then I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's light of day as well. I think my graveyard of projects I've done that have never seen the light of day is 8 feature films worth of shit. Honestly,
that's funny.
Not just because I made something too crazy. It's just various reasons. Obviously when I was working on Conan, a lot of stuff I was throwing at the wall never made it on the air. I haven't been able to show, but stuff like that, I've got I don't know, one day I should just release it all.
You should. Yeah, the Smearballs. The Smearballs master edit.
The half of my career that I haven't been able to share with the world.
Leftover smears.
Right.
Yeah, actually.
Do it.
Garbage smears. The
Garbage.
recycle bin smears.
Garbage balls.
I need to have like some kind of a like auto release video that like uploads to Vimeo and YouTube
As soon as you die.
inactive for like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All on the blockchain, and then
Right.
all residuals go to your estate.
Yeah.
Right.
All set up ahead of time. That'd be great.
It's pretty good.
Has
Pretty
Conan
good.
done anything in NFTs yet?
Not that I've heard.
I feel like he'd at least be talking about it jokingly about how he doesn't understand it.
I'm sure he's tweeted about it in that kind of way, but I doubt that he's done anything in that realm.
So, super off topic, but you know, Bo Burnham, his Inside special. So he has this song called "Funny Feeling," right? Where he's talking about all these like, you know,
Funny feeling.
things that are just weird about the world, you know. And at one point he talks about like a female Colonel Sanders, and that always makes me think of you. It always makes me think of you.
Well, it's kind of sad because all that I did like probably 10 projects for KFC through Wyden & Kennedy, and I heard that this year they just lost that contract, or that it's like
that sucks.
been renegotiated or something. So it's
well, if they lost
know.
the contract, you should be like, hey KFC, just hire me directly.
Yeah, exactly. Give me
know?
a multi-million.
I will make all your weird videos.
And the pure creative freedom that they used to give Wyden & Kennedy. Like Wyden & Kennedy really had pretty much carte blanche. Like when I was doing projects with them, it was like there was never notes from the client hardly.
Yeah,
like it was
that's
just
nice.
pretty. They had a pretty long leash. It was pretty amazing. Like that was a dream period for that kind of work. Anyway, it was super fun. But yeah, the virtual kernel thing, we won a Webby for that one. The best use
That's
of
cool.
social media or something that year was kind of cool.
That's cool.
And the controversial DJ Colonel Sanders that pissed a lot of people off. Did you see that one?
I don't know that one. Yeah.
No, it was like at Ultra Music Festival. DJ Colonel Sanders came out.
Oh,
with, like,
yes,
Head.
I do remember this.
And it was so funny
yeah.
because like, well, they asked me to do it, and my buddy Fez actually did a lot like the live visuals. I fed him some content, but he actually did the full 4K Resolume setup to blast it at the show, and then they got a head made for it. And it pissed a lot of people off because they're just like, well, now there's, corporate KFC crap on the stage. But it was obviously like
I remember
ridiculous
this now.
joke. And I remember telling Joel, because Joel was like, I brought up the Colonel Sanders thing, and he starts like bitching about it or whatever. And I was like, dude, that was me, man. And then he like, his face went from like
funny.
pissed off to like confused to laughing to like still pissed off. And he's like, of course you did that, you fucking asshole. It was so funny.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, that was just obviously one of those like gigs that's gonna be piss people off and be like hilarious.
There he is.
Yeah.
Yep.
The worst thing about that is like we had my buddy Nautilus was making some music for this, and they were like so freaked out. The agency and the client was like, what if this EDM sounds like other EDM and we might have a lawsuit that like we weren't allowed, like they hired music professionals to like see if this music was too much like some other music. So he made some song that was like totally 100% original EDM track to use on this, and they sent it to some musicologist person who said, well, that's the same chord progression as some fucking Coldplay song, so we can't use it. We can't use it. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is like a different tempo, a different everything. It doesn't even have. You would never think Coldplay when you heard this goddamn song.
Right.
It's EDM.
I don't think chord progressions can be copyrighted. Can they?
So I don't know what the fuck. It was just a nightmare to try and make music for this with this like fear of getting sued because of somebody's ignorance about EDM. So then we ended up having to buy and remix stock EDM music for this show.
Which could be the same problem.
No, exactly. It's like, but then the liabilities with the stock site that sold it to you, right? That's the whole thing. They need to offload the liability. So, anyway, but it was just to
pass
like
the blame somewhere.
Yeah.
DJ Colonel Sanders. I love
DJ Colonel Sanders.
Now, did he come before or after Marshmallow? I can just see Joel being like,
Oh,
DJ
yeah.
Colonel Sanders, this is the worst thing since Marshmallow.
Yeah.
Dave, if you look
giant
at that
heads.
link that I just sent in the chat, it's
Yeah.
I mean it's a YouTube video. I don't know if you really want to show it, but like
Oh,
this is
yeah,
actually
depends.
like, did you do any of the animations and stuff for this?
Yeah, and then on the back of the screen.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
backing
because I mean they look
visuals.
very Smearballsy, you know.
Well, after I
did
watch
some
this
of it.
ad for Humera, I'll bring it up.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Dude,
raw
you need-
footage. We can bring this up. This is fine.
Yeah, you need YouTube Premium. I just started paying for that.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Well, I told you to get YouTube.
I did get YouTube TV. I like
That
it a
stuff is
lot.
Awesome. Yeah. So you did that whole.
That was
that whole thing.
Yeah, that model was from an actual spot they did where they made a robotic Colonel Sanders head for a like drive-through. So they gave me the model and I just
Oh.
animated it.
That's funny.
So like he
Yeah.
talks to you when you go through the drive-through.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
That is.
Oh, and that
so-
was from I reused a lot of assets because we had like a week to do this whole thing or some stupid short amount of time. So that bongo drumming was from the KFC chicken
Yeah.
pot pie meditation thing I did.
Right.
Oh yeah, that was the best. Did Ari have help on that too?
Yeah. he
On
did.
that one, yeah.
Yeah. Space.
Did some spacey stuff, yeah.
Space peas.
But yeah, that was another one of these projects that was like that space one too. We did that or the pot pie meditation thing we did in 12 days, the entire
Yeah.
thing, and it was 40 minutes of content or something
Yeah.
crazy.
Gosh. Oh yeah, I
That-
remember you talking about that.
Yeah, there was like one hero video of like 9 minutes, and then the rest. My buddy Fez, who also did the stuff for DJ Colonel Sanders, he did a lot of it in Resolume by pumping out real-time renders, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, but no, the heyday of KFC is kind of sadly over, unfortunately. But maybe it'll pop up again if KFC wants to do some
Any
stuff. I'm down.
Yeah.
any more like the last time I think we had you on the show, we talked about like, you know, you wanting to do something similar that you did with the chickening, you know. Any updates on that or anything?
I guess I've just been so into just building out detailed like 3D scenes. I haven't even been in the After Effects 2D,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
rotoscope hell world in quite a while. But I always like, you know, there's some fondness in my heart for that style. I do want to go back to it with a refreshed 3D angle, but I just haven't. Honestly, this is the first time I've had in years now again that I'm actually free. So maybe, but
sure.
right now I'm doing more like, you know, that cubicle one I did with all the characters and that weird.
Yeah.
I want to do a couple more like that right now. So I'm doing a house party scene with like 10 or 12 people
Nice.
all doing really weird stuff. So
that
it's
you
going to
did
be
in your Rococo suit.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Nice.
that's the next one. And then I'm going to do another one of a church. I'm going to do a church simulator. So a bunch
Nice.
of weird
Nice.
worshiping the
Yeah.
Lord. those are the two I have on deck right now. So I want to do those first, and then we'll see what
So if
happens.
you do something with the church one, is that one just a standard old NFT, right?
Yeah, I'm just
you know,
gonna throw.
I was gonna say if you did something interactive where people could like, you know, tithe to you.
that
you
would
know?
be pretty awesome, actually. Yeah, you pass around the hat, and you get like a POAP token, and
Right.
Hey, it's tax free if it's religious, right?
yeah.
Right.
Well, that would actually
Okay.
be cool to make a fucked up church metaverse, like where you go
Yeah.
and it's like there's a sermon going on and the stuff's burning and there's like, you know, a bunch of weirdos in the pews. It would be pretty cool. So maybe
Yeah.
I'll do the animation and then try and port it to Unreal after and
There you
make it
go.
into a live place so you can go on Sundays.
Have you done a lot of Unreal stuff?
No, I just downloaded it last week for the first time. So
Okay.
but I got to get into it because it's just getting so powerful, man. I'm like
4 or
yeah.
5.
I downloaded 5 because I had to work with the guys on that Dead Mouse headquarters thing, and they built it in 5. So I just downloaded it to be able to like check out their
Cool.
project. So I haven't really done anything, to tell you the truth. But it's also on deck for software I have to learn.
Yeah.
It's in the
Cool.
pile.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, the pile.
You guys, oh yeah, you have a course, don't you?
We do,
The
yeah.
games?
Yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah.
Your Houdini one was
Winbushes.
very helpful with Mark. Actually, I dug it, but I need those notifications to stop because I've like
Oh, well, you can just do that in your
checked it all
settings.
out. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Every
I- I've
Sunday,
been- I'm
how it
going on,
says,
like,
you've
I
only
get 'em
finished
too.
so much.
I'm going
Yeah.
on 2 years of getting those notifications.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
I-
My particle
And what's
stuff
funny is
build-
I signed up when we were testing it. I signed up on like a whole bunch of like dummy accounts. So every week it's, hey, Farts McGee, you've only finished like 10% of this course, you know?
Yeah. What was my
Yeah, I'll
login
check-
for Farts McGee?
I don't remember.
Yeah. It's funny.
So
Have you gone pretty deep in Unreal yourself? Yourself?
I just went through the course. That was
Yeah.
about it. You know, like for me, I'm more of the I'm waiting around for brigade type stuff, you know, for the
Right,
Unreal
right.
rendering. Like, because I don't really need to use it for anything besides, I wouldn't need to use it for anything besides sending out like renders quickly to clients and stuff like that. You know, I'm not doing any interactive stuff or anything like that, you know. With some of the stuff that you're doing, I could see you definitely needing it, you know, or getting into it more.
Well, it's like the power of the soft body stuff even is super impressive in Unreal. Like it's just being able to bust all that stuff out in real time, and the rendering quality is getting really good. Volumetrics are getting really good. It's just like there's going to be a point where it's just like, why am I using Cinema for certain things when it's like, you know, or on the rendering side. I mean, you're always going to still probably use it for creating and building and modeling and what have you. I imagine that stuff's in the works in Unreal too. Are there good modeling, you know, apps
I have
within
no
it,
idea
or
that
what?
there is even any modeling stuff. You would
Really?
think that someone
Right.
like, you know, like that they would be into that, you know, that they would
Are there
be wanting to
modifiers
build
in
their-
Unreal that you can like, you know, distort meshes and change things?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Yeah.
And Windbush's
Yeah.
course doesn't really go into that stuff. It's just kind of an
Mostly
introductory-
C4D to
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Unreal and stuff
just
like
learning
that.
Unreal really from scratch. If you've
Have
never
you
been-
tried the Octane export to Unreal? Is there any kind of bridge from Cinema 4D if you have Octane materials to get stuff into Unreal
So
easily?
the cool thing with that, you export out Orbix files, and then I believe you will be able to read and manipulate Orbix files directly into Unreal. Yeah,
Amazing.
directly. Don't quote me on it. I'm pretty sure that's the case, you know, because that was how they got things over. But the one thing with that is you're not rendering real time per se. You're rendering
is it-
Octane the same.
But is it faster to render Octane in Unreal than it is
It's
in
not.
Cinema? No.
No, you
It's
tried
exactly the same. Yeah. That
Yeah.
was my thing. I was like, oh, well, you know, if I can bring in Octane stuff to Unreal and then render it in real time, hell yeah, let's do it. But there's no difference in time that, you know, the only way to speed things up is to render it in Octane standalone, you know.
Yeah,
So-
all
Is
that'll
that
be
actually
available.
faster rendering in standalone than it is out of
I
Cinema?
believe it is,
Like,
but
nominally, or is it like substantial?
I don't know.
Like, yeah.
I really don't know, honestly. But
'Cause once
I
you
will
count-
say, like, getting it out to Orbix, the amount of time that you could spend getting it out to Orbix
That's the
may
pain in the
negate
ass.
the amount
That's
of
like-
time.
so many times I'm like, oh, I want to render this in render to free up my machine, and then it's like, oh, that's 40 gig file, and then I have to not only export the Orbex, I have to upload it. Like, I wish there was a like per frame Orbex upload to render network thing, where it can
that'd be
just
cool.
you know, so I can render some frames on render network while rendering some locally to speed things up, or like, I don't know.
Well, that is
I
part of
think-
Schrodinger's render, which is the statement that anything that you want to do with an Orbex, Jules is already working on it.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
That's funny. I know with I'm excited about the C4D native, you know, in render. So being able to just save out a project, you know, instead of having to export it out to an Orbix first, you know, straight out of
Is
C4D.
that's in the works?
That is in the works, yeah.
Good, 'cause
That was
that'll-
announced along with the Redshift stuff. So
Oh, good,
hopefully,
good.
I think that should be out
What's the
at some
roadmap
point
with
later
the
on this
Redshift?
year.
Is Redshift happening soon, or is that like way in the distant future kind of thing?
I have a feeling they'll probably both be done at the same time, around the same time, because, and this is just me, I have no insider information. You know, I would assume that if they're working with the Maxon team on Redshift, they would also be working on getting the native C4D files as well. You know, yeah.
I bet you they're gonna like. The whole reason they're using Orbex all this time was because of the pain in the ass with all the plugins and everything like that. I wonder how that's gonna work when you've got some export.
That is,
that
that
there,
could
like-
be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder if they'll have to have like a. I wonder if you could do like a centralized hub or something with just the plugins, the specific plugins for that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
because everything still ultimately needs to be baked somehow.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Huh.
But
Yeah, some other things in the
Interesting.
chat. I think. What was I gonna talk about? Let's see. I'm trying to go back a little bit. The Digital Jesus Camp. I think you should do a Q conspiracy meetup thing. You know,
That
just
would
a
be
bunch of Q
that'd be fun.
conspirators.
There you go.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
yeah, that's a great way to get like 1 million people threatening you online.
Right, I know.
Sure.
No, even just doing like Trump crap or MAGA stuff on Instagram or whatever, you
get a lot.
inevitably get the hardcore hate smackdown from a few
I figure
crazies.
you could do zombie JFK Jr. or something, you know.
Somebody's asking tips for starting out with
Yes.
NFT.
Yeah.
I would say, I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I kind of just feel like I won the lottery getting on Super Rare at the right time in the right place. But I don't know. I think that it's still quality work, still hopefully stands out. If it doesn't right now, I think it will in the long run. You know, these things don't go anywhere. They're on the blockchain forever. So,
Yeah.
you know, do detailed work. There's just so much half-ass crap that I'm seeing. And even it's discouraging seeing it sell for a ton of money and so many artists just busting out lazy crap to make a quick buck. But I think in the long run, it's still just people realize that you've spent time on something when it's good and when you've, you know, added that detail or have a good idea. So stick to your guns and make good stuff is number one. I guess the marketing thing and trying to, you know, hype your stuff properly. It's different for everyone. You know, it's so hard to say. Like, it's also like when people ask me how I started out and I'm like, fuck, I don't know. I made a bunch of dumb shit on YouTube and dropped out of art. Like, it's not good advice, you know, like to do it the way I did it. But I don't know. I think just make good work and try and publicize it well. I mean, it's tough because
and don't spam people in their freaking Twitter inbox constantly with. How many people have bought an NFT because they got a random DM on their Instagram that said, "You're gonna miss out. These things are selling like hotcakes. You gotta get on here."
I think the PFP world is totally different than making one-of-one art. Like it's the difference between like some weird commercial project and gallery art. You know, like it's a completely different world, and it's weird that they get conflated so much. But I think eventually the one-of-one artist fine art market is going to completely separate from that shit. Hopefully, and it's becomes about the art again. But
was this question? What about the platform? I mean,
that's a tough one too because platforms kind of become flavor of the week too. I feel like I've been fortunate to get into Super Rare because it's kind of held some ground throughout all this. But like Maker's Place definitely had a heyday. Nifty Gateway had a heyday. And things have come and gone, and you can see by the charts they're always in flux. So I guess it's kind of like as much as I tell 1 million NFT platforms to fuck off on Instagram every week because there's like a bazillion of them. Like, I guess researching them and finding if there are any cool, unique ones that are catching some fire to try and jump in on them early because you could score. But you also don't want to throw your art up on 1 million shitty NFT sites. So it's like you got to kind of be careful. But I think we're going to run into a time when if you got a kick-ass piece of artwork, you can shop it around to these platforms to see if they'll give you any like incentives to post on their platform. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of almost thinking like it could be because these platforms want good art on their sites, you know? So if you've got some good work, it could be about a negotiation of like getting some, guaranteed publicity out of it, but by putting your art on a platform and kind of, realize that you've got some worth if you got a good piece and shop it around and see what you can get out of a platform for posting it there. If it's a unknown platform anyway, but
token
otherwise,
rewards?
I don't know.
Like I see multipliers.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I see some good sales on Maker's Place sometimes on Foundation. It's hard to say, where to post stuff.
Yeah.
Just concentrate on the art. The people will come, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
I think it is kind of important to not spread yourself out too much. Like I've had almost all my luck on Super Rare, a few sales on other things, but a lot of stuff that I posted on other sites just didn't sell or is still sitting there collecting the cobwebs, So like I kind of because of that, want to keep focusing my attention on super rare where all my stuff's selling. So
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool to have your collection of, unified work in one place. So
right.
It's, tough
Matt,
choice.
you got some crypto links for us here before we go.
Yeah, let's go back to that.
Yeah.
It was, oh boy. Sorry, it just logged me out of Notion.
Oh, why do you do that?
Coinly.
Yeah, if
okay,
you have
so
the app for Notion, it'll be a lot
I
easier.
actually just deleted it off my computer.
Oh,
I
what?
like using
Oh.
I like using the web browser. Okay, so coinly.io, Koinly.io. So keep in mind, all of these links are ones that people have sent me. I have not actually used personally, so I can't vouch for their
right.
Void
where prohibited. We get it.
Yeah. Not financial advice. Coinly.io. So with tax season coming up, this will help go through all your, crypto transactions and stuff like that, and figure out, how you're doing tax wise. It'll get some tax forms for you.
But I think it's also like, I would looked at it and I'm like, how does it know what is a capital gain, what is income from art? It's like, I'm like trying to figure out if it can actually figure that stuff out. So I feel like it's like a broad stroke solution, but you still need to kind of dive in if you've got complicated stuff with art sales and tons of resales and transactions, and there's some stuff to figure out still. But it does look,
I think
it does look cool.
I think it looks through your wallet and figures out all the transactions and what the price for, whatever cryptocurrency was at that specific time. So,
that too.
Yeah. And then Gurn sent us a couple of links. First one is Looks Rare. It's a supposedly a new competitor to OpenSea, which is kind of neat. Could be neat. He said that he signed up for the account and like it apparently looks at your OpenSea account and then gives you like as a incentive, or like hey, you're a heavy user. They like give you some of their own coin or something like that. Which he said he got like 1.7 ETH, from or the equivalent of, just for signing up, which is cool. So I don't know, worth it to check out. And then the last one is Revoke.cash, I believe it is. But this is a website that anytime you go to like, one of these wallet sites where it's like, oh, connect your wallet, so-and-so, and you go and sign in, they have access to your wallet at all times. So if one of them was to get hacked, there's a chance that you're putting yourself out there. Revoke.cash allows you to revoke your, that permission from different website, which is kind of cool. So that's all I got as far as links.
Casey would ask a question. I don't know why it didn't come through the chat on the screen, but was asking about if we've seen a market for handmade NFTs, like oil paintings that have been digitized.
So I have noticed that there have been a lot of like, physical artists and stuff like that on Nifty Gateway and Maker's Place and stuff like that, who do drops regularly. I 100% think it's cool, to digitize like actual artwork, especially if you're selling it as a 101 and including the artwork as it, which I think I think that's rad.
I give 101 prints of all my NFTs sent in the mail as well. So I like to, have that physical thing. But I think the opposite's great too. If you make physical artwork and find a way to digitize it, especially if you have like a painting and find a cool way to make a digital interpretation of it. I've seen a lot of cool like animated, paintings and real life things that pop.
Richard says, I love Canada's honor system in the tax code. Is there really a bit of an honor system up there?
Well, I mean, as much as in the U.S., I think, isn't it? Like you claim all of your expenses and whatnot, and
they find
you
out
get audited. You get audited, and then you can go to jail like anywhere else.
Oh, okay. That's what I was curious about. Yeah.
No, you can still get audited.
Yeah. They're like, I thought they were just like, they just come apologize, or you just apologize to them, and then it's all good.
I'm sorry.
They come beat you up
What's
for
all
your
this
maple
about?
syrup.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
They send you to syrup mines.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
All right,
else?
so
Anything else?
yeah, if anyone has any artwork that they are doing any drops, feel free to email us, info@mograph.com. We'll show it on the show. But yeah, I guess we could get back to the regular show, can't we?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Drop. Is this the fucking mic? This is exactly what I should be doing.